This is the evaluation of the purposive approach. So this is a discuss, evaluate question that you could get in the exam. So first of all, the advantages of the purposive approach. Well, it's a very flexible approach. It's the only one that just goes straight in there and considers what Parliament intended. So therefore, judges are respecting Parliament's wishes. They're not thinking about the meaning of the word. They're thinking about what was meant by this Act of Parliament. What did Parliament mean? Why did they put this law in place? So you can expand that further and say, well, this is good. This leads to justice. It's a very broad approach. It considers the purpose, purposive, considers the purpose of the law. It's also a very modern rule. It allows judges to develop laws to fit with modern society. It saves Parliament time because Parliament don't have to then go back and make a new Act of Parliament. If judges set a precedent and say, this is what this act means, this is what this sentence or word means, then it saves Parliament time from having to go and remake a whole act, which we know is a long process. It also avoids absurd results. So you can punish those people who should be punished, and it allows justice to be achieved. In the case of Whiteley, the judge, remember, Whiteley was the voting one where he impersonated a dead person. They used the literal rule, didn't they? And he was not guilty. Had you used the purposive approach, did Parliament intend for people to be not guilty? No, they would have said he should have been guilty. So it avoids absurdity. It's very modern. It's very popular. It's used across Europe, and it's liked by a lot of people. However, there are disadvantages. It does take more time. Judges have to use extrinsic aid. So they might look at Hansard, which is a record of all the parliamentary debates. This obviously takes a long, long time to look through and find Parliament's intention. So the other issue is, what if you think you found Parliament's intention, but it wasn't actually Parliament's intention? Are you reading too much into things? There's a lot of uncertainty. When a judge is going to use this rule, which rule a judge is going to use full stop, we don't know. So it's quite difficult to advise clients. Lawyers are going to have problems with the unpredictable nature of statutory interpretation. You could also think about, how can judges be certain what Parliament intended? And it assumes that Parliament only had one intention, and that was their intention at the time of making the Act. Well, are we going to now go beyond that and say, well, society has changed? If they had made the law today, their intention would have been different. Bodily harm. Did Parliament in 1861 intend for it to include the mind? Probably not. But now it does include the mind. That's what judges have said. So are they saying that Parliament would intend in 2021 for it to include the mind? So they may get Parliament's intention wrong. You could also argue that judges are going beyond their role of applying the law and interpreting the law. That's what they should be doing. You're giving judges a lot of power here, and as a result, they may actually be creating the law and not respecting Parliament's sovereignty. So they shouldn't really be making the law, but by fundamentally changing meanings of words and doing more than just modifying, they could be going beyond their constitutional position and making law, which does not respect the sovereignty of Parliament. So there are a lot of advantages and a lot of disadvantages. It's not an exhaustive list. You may come up with some great ideas. Always put them in the comments if you want to. So there's one final video, which is to do with intrinsic and extrinsic aids.